Hello everyone, my name is Gabi and I will take you on a hybrid bike guided tour through Cologne. I'm part of Agora Köln e.V. Agora Köln e.V. is an NGO and we are people and initiatives from Cologne and in the fields of civil society, culture, local economy, and we are dealing with the future of Cologne in sense of sustainable change making. And what I will show you today are some Agora Köln projects directly on site, meaning that I will be here outside on the street, and with me I have two charming colleagues. One of them is Kirsten, hello, and the other one is my colleague Lisa. And as you see, we are keeping a distance because it's the 18th of November 2020. We have a COVID-19 pandemic situation at the moment, and we have to keep distance not to spread the virus and flatten the curve. So they will keep distance and I will talk to them and we will ride our bikes to several spots and guiding you through Cologne. So why are we here? We are here at this space. It is called Bürgerhaus Stolberg. Bürgerhaus Stolberg is a civic center, and in front of it you see parklets. So these are two parklets we created within a project called Mut zur Lücke. Mut zur Lücke is a German saying, and basically it means, let's say you are a student and you have to have an exam and you don't learn everything, but you are encouraged to leave out some things. And parking spaces in Germany also are called Parklücken. So we called this Parklettlücken. What we did in the project was we gathered together people from the neighborhoods and we asked them to take part in creating parklets. The project is funded by the city of Cologne, and we as Agora Köln e.V., we are in the field of civic engagement since 2012, 2013. We have experiences with other projects to invite people and neighborhoods to come together to change the city, to change the streets, make placemaking. And we started in 2018, at the end of 2018, with our team, and then we invited people for neighborhood meetups, and we told them, if you have a neighborhood group, if you like to change a way of living in your neighborhood, you can help us creating parklets. So then we had some meetings. We found groups who said, yes, we want to have charge of a parklet. We will build this with you together. And what we had the opportunity to do was that we had a funding money to give them money for materials to build their own parklets. So they were able to come up with a design idea. And of course, this had to be approved by the municipality, because not everything can be built and left on the street. So it was important. Safety was really important. So I can show you later that we also had to make sure that you don't fall on the street. And this is the first of the parklets where Kirsten is sitting and chilling. So this was built by Muku Tate Werkstatt e.V. This is an association who is culturally involved in music, dancing, theater. And they thought about a parklet where you can perform. And Kirsten, you see Kirsten here performing a little bit. So in this parking space, they had the chance to invite people and children to have a theater, maybe also like poetry sessions. And this was really well received here as well. We have another, thank you, Kirsten. We have another parklet. And this parklet, as you can see it, it's all about feet, especially barefoot. So now it's November, as I told you, so we improvise with socks. But you can see as well that there are different kinds of materials you can step on and experience in the city, in a former parking space, what you could do with a barefoot path in Cologne. And this was built from 2 young women. And the speciality about this is you see here some gravel lying around, and we here have some children who live here, and they really, really liked the project. And so they came out and they were walking around the barefoot path, and they helped us putting back the stones. So this was a really nice engagement from the children and from the people here. And then also when we built the parklet, some neighbor from here saw us building the parklet, and he said, "Oh, do you want a coffee?" And we said, "Yes, of course." So we had participation all around the time. These are 2 examples. And as we will go to the other spaces, we will go on our bikes. So I will take you with me on the journey to the next parklet. So I will ride my bike and I will mute myself. And within the time, I'd like to invite you to talk about parklets, to talk about civic engagement. And we will meet up at another spot.
What do you think about the idea? About the parklets? Would it be possible in your country?
Okay, I can say something about yeah, I think it's really good to how to engage the neighborhood, and also how to use this space that is like to give it a new life. So especially this, I like this idea about the playground, and also the kids, and also I don't know, the different generations they can gather there. So it's like the epicenter of the stories, and all this like spontaneously happening, the other things like offering the coffee from neighbors and everything. So it builds even more relationship like around between members of community. So yeah, I think for Denmark would be great, especially because this social moment that we need to create something so people are not spontaneously gathering, right? So you need to organize. So I think having these spaces are something that is actually will motivate more people to come and share stories, or just small talks to have. And then yeah, so would be great. I don't know, I can start thinking. And actually I think this moment of like because you need approval like official from also municipality. So that's something that to take in consideration, having knowing like where to go and where to ask for these approvals for that would be the first step, I suppose, in this case. I don't know, should that be the first step or no? Like idea is.
The interesting thing is actually, I think also the people from Cologne talked about it, that you can create a Padlet which has wheels. And so you can push it so it is like a car. So basically, since every car has a right to be in a parking spot, you could park a Padlet. I think I'm not sure if the Cologne people had it or if somebody in Berlin did it, but basically they created a car which they could push. And so they were allowed to use parking spots like a normal car. And they just pushed it there, and they could leave it in the parking spot for 2 days. And then they had to move it, because this is as well how officially you would have to do it with a car. And so they didn't even ask for permission, because they say this is our vehicle. We just parked it here. So, and that's how they went around the permission. because, you know, it's like a car. I mean, you could also park a pickup truck, for example, right? But what I liked about the idea, what I saw there with them, is that they have this variety, because here in Berlin, usually it is about sitting and, you know, they make a bench. But here they had this barefoot path and, you know, this totally different use of the public space. So that's fantastic. So I could imagine, for example, to put a like a bathtub or something in the summer for kids to play in or something like this. So I really like the idea. Yeah, I think Gabi is still not at her next stop. So what about you, Marco or Christina or Conchi? What do you think about Parklet?
Well, I think that it will be a great idea for, especially for cities, and in particular, I can see well this idea in Milan. But I think also that it requires a civil education, I think, and I have some doubts about the Italian way to treat things. So I don't know if it will be.
Can you tell us more about that?
I don't know if it will be in a great condition even after some time. So, but I think that it will be a great idea.
How about you, Christina? Do you have that in Budapest?
No, as far as I know, we don't. But why not? I mean, it's. I think it will come sooner or later to have it, but not in a well-organized way. I think it's rather about the debate that is interesting about cars and parking and the use of space and as I told you in this discussion this morning, we are really very divided in this. So for when we have such a divided environment, I think it's a harsh thing to kind of provocative thing. I'm not sure it would be a very constructive way to put to do something on the to make nervous the other side. So it depends a lot on the local situation, on the society where you are in, the reaction of the people. So we are not in a peace here. It's a war, kind of war. Civil war.
Although if you make a nice place for a dog or something, maybe then everybody can have, you know, all dog owners have a. It depends, I think, also what to do with it, right?
As far as I see the neighborhood where Gabi is, it's kind of spaceful place with not a very. It's not a how to say congestion place. So where, for example, where I live, it's so congestion you cannot. It's like a city center. So it depends on also where you are in German cities.
You can ask her in a minute where she is.
Yeah,
so she can maybe say one or two more words.
Yes, we are here at the next stop, and it's a little bit noisy because there were construction works. This is a hospital over there. So where we are now, this is the church, and there's a gardening group Kartäuser Garten, because it's a church, Kartäuser Kirche, and they say lasst uns beten, so beten like pray, but also beten like gardening work. And the group decided to put a parklet in front of the church, and what you now see here is the parklet, but the parklet stood over there on the street. But the project we are working with is temporarily planned. So end of October and end of November, we had to remove the parklets. So in about 2 weeks, all of the parklets, except of this one, will be gone for the winter. And what happens to them in the next year, we don't know. We asked the groups if they like to continuing next year, but we will see what happens. So with this parklet, it's all about what you see green, because it's a gardening group. You can sit here. So Kirsten is sitting there. How do you sit in this spot? How do you like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot, and it reminds me of the other initiative we have in Cologne, which is called Eatable City. So here you can start to smell and to eat. So this is peppermint and rosemary and all this stuff. Maybe estragon, I don't know.
Yes, so it is inviting for people to be here and maybe to pick some herbs and to take them with them. And one short story I had when the parklet stood over there where the blue car is standing now. And this is the hospital. So I was visiting the parklet and then somebody rushed out. Is there any problem with my car? Because the car was parked there. And I said, no, I just wanted to sit here and enjoy the parklet. And then I asked, are you from here? And then she said, yes, I'm working in the hospital. And we use this as a space for our break. So we sit here, we come here, and we sit and talk when we have a break. And as you see, it's not a neighborhood street because the church and the hospital is here. And basically you would have looked on a brick wall, but it was very calming. And it was like a small oasis here, just to sit here. And people from the neighborhood actually came to take a break and to sit in this parklet. And because it's standing here, this is ground of the church. So where the brick is starting, it's church ground. So it's private ground in a sense. And here is public space. Because it belongs to the church, they can have it here even in the winter. So this is an example of privately owned public space, because this space is publicly available. This space is public available and people can walk here, but the city can't say we don't like it here because it's a public owned ground of the church. Do you have any questions of this space?
I have just a short question. Who's taking care of the garden, of the plants?
So the gardening group is, you can't see it from here, but behind the church, there's a garden. And they have a gardening group and they meet every Saturday to garden and to take care for the garden you can see at the moment. And they also take care about this. So we found people who said, we want to take charge. We want to take care of the parking spaces so that they just not build it and leave it alone. It was important for us in the project that we had a group of people feeling responsible for the space. So also we have signs written on it. If you have, let me see here. So like information signs like this, or here we put up a sign. Tell us what you think about it. If you have any ideas what to do with it, or if you want to leave a mark, please write us an email. So we made it clear that it was a project which is accepted, or like not accepted only, but from the city of Cologne. So that's a valid and like a project where you had the that we can do it. So we have the right to do it here, like Genehmigung.
And I also have the other question. I think it refers to what Markus said while we were talking about Padlets in Italy, if that would be possible. How is it with damages, and who's maintaining this? Or is there any vandalism?
It was not so much vandalism and not so much of like trash. And if it would have been vandalized, the persons taking charge of the space, like the groups, they would call us and say something is damaged, and we would come and they would repair it as well. So they were in charge of building it and maintaining it. And if something would have happened, they would have called us, or and we would have talked to the city to take care of it. So the people take care of it, but we were able we were able to be in contact with the city. So it was like a collaboration between civic groups, Agora Köln e.V. and the municipality. So it was a cooperation, or it is still a cooperation. So I guess we will ride to the next stop, and I invite you to discuss again until we meet in another space.
Alessandro, I was telling them that in Italy, I'm not sure that all these kind of urban spaces will be in a great condition after some time. I have the fear that they will be vandalized.
First of all, in Italy, nothing is sure, so we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow in Italy. So yeah, basically it depends where are these public spaces when, for example, in the outskirts of the city, always like there will be maybe vandalized, or it's something like it's very hard to control. If you want to control, maybe if the police want to control, it's like in the outskirts of the city, it's always very hard to keep the things in the right manner. So, but you know, when you have public space in the, for example, in the city, in the city center of Milan, for example, if you look at the new park that we have near the office in Garolenti, in like the financial part of the city. Now, and they are very nice parks, and they are always taken care by some people from this municipality. So it
Yes,
depends. Well,
because
yeah.
they are almost in the center zone of Milan. So I think that when you go a little bit outside, there could be some of these cases of vandalism.
Yeah, especially also in the countryside, it's quite different because it depends about the village, you know, the people that are actually living there. Because I remember when I was a child, we had a lot of public spaces, parks, and they weren't vandalized at all. Right now, they are like it's something that you can go there because all the benches are like broken. For example, the basket court, they don't have the basket anymore. They are broken. So it's
Yeah, the same
things
goes for
are
me.
changing, and the things are changing. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't have many. Well, I have ideas, but I don't have to judge or say, you know, younger generation they are going to break everything down. But I don't want to say that because I remember when I was a kid that they were saying this to me, so I don't want to say this to them. So it's always like this, you know, older generation blaming to the younger generation. It's like it's not good. But
perhaps the point, Alessandro, perhaps the point is in education.
yeah.
I
In
also
the
think
education in the family and also from the part of the politicians.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I
How
also
they communicate.
yeah, but I also think that important for this Padlets is the sense of ownership. So I think what they did cleverly is to give the ownership to locals, and they combine it with things they like. So I like really much the idea, for example, in the last example they showed with the garden, because you really can sit down, you can take some herbs, you know, it's like really like a little oasis. And then, you know, it seems like the garden group took ownership, but also the people from the hospital took ownership. And I think this is maybe also a key. So if you give I don't know, a youth gang the ownership of a Padlet, and it's their space and they are in charge to maintain it, and you help them, I think, of course, it will maybe not look like you like it, but, you know, maybe it will be graffiti or whatever, but they create it like they want it. And then I think it also will maintain in that area, right? So I think that was really interesting, this ownership question.
Yeah, exactly. If you feel ownership and you feel that you are responsible, that would really diminish the destruction of places. I think so.
And it's in the end, like Conchi said, education, because ownership educates you. I mean, experiential. I mean, it's not like somebody saying you have to, but it's a here, it's your place, take care of it, we will support you. You know, it is like a self-education in a way.
Yeah.
So we are here at our next stop.
Okay.
So the next stop is a parking space, like 2 parking spaces, and the parklets are having been created by association Miteinander im Pantalionsviertel, meaning together in the Pantalionsviertel, that's the neighborhood. And here you see 2 benches and some plants. Also what they did, because this is called Martinsfeld, and they called it Martinsplätzchen. So not only they created parking spaces for people to sit down and come together, they also gave the space a new name. And we hope that after the project is ending, the space will be called Martinsplätzchen. So that would be a nice thing, what would happen. This was built with the group, and one of the group members is a teacher for woodwork and like a college or something similar. So this is an example of how skills have been used to be in the project. So the other members were helping and were assembling. And so what they did was they ordered the wood, and in the college or in the space where they could have the wood cut, and then they took it on these streets, as you see, like on trolleys. So they were marching like a how do you call this? What? Like a parade here at one day, at the first day they implemented it. And so what they did here, they put up a sign beforehand to say, dear neighbors, we will build here something. This is okay with the city. And they also asked the neighbors before, what do they think about this project? Do they like to be involved? And so it was not the problem with all of the other parklets for like vandalism or stuff like this, more than is it loud? Meaning because people live here, and when there are sitting 20 people, would it be too noisy? So this was the main issue of some people, but it was very moderate. So it was not like escalating that neighbors said, what are you doing here? Woo! But there were discussions, because when you're in public space, this is an issue for some people. And how are the interests in project like this? People like to sit and to come together. Other people want to have their quiet. So what do? Who owns the space? Who decides what happens with the parking space, which is public but owned from the city? So what we did here, not only the space, but these are 3 of the parking spaces, parklets. We also have, Martin mentioned a portable one, like on a bike, Fahrradanhänger, which was a portable stage. And we also had another neighborhood parklet, but this was assembled already, has been assembled already, and is somewhere else for the winter. So, and Lisa, show me, what do you have in your hands? Tell us more about this. Why did we do this?
This is a smart booklet which you can hold in your hands and get as a present for everybody who is interested in the spaces we created. And this is a game. So it's like a fox trail or a GPS tour where we put in a story and where we have lots of gaps that need to be filled in by the people who are walking around and exploring the neighborhood. Because all the gaps, the parking lots we had were connected to each other because they are kind of in the same area, and you could walk. I think it took them 2 hours roundabout to fulfill it, and it was really great because this is yeah, I think this is alive still, even that there are only 2 parking slots, 3 left. You can still use it, you can download it on the website, and so this is the way the project is still alive, and it will be alive even after the project.
Yes, so the fun part was how can we have when every parklet was built, we can't celebrate because at one point Corona, like COVID hit, and we weren't allowed to build the parklets up. But then we had the permission to do so. And then we thought about we can't celebrate with a lot of people that every parklet now is on the street and people can enjoy it. So we came up with these walking self-guided tour, and Lisa and I, we have developed it. And yeah, please have a look on our website. We can also share the link later. And Kirsten, how does it feel to sit here?
Great. It's a great space, and you can really relax and see what's happening. It's like in a Dorfplatz.
Yeah, like in a village center. So the interesting here with this neighborhood is in this particular small neighborhood, there is no bar, there is no pub. So this would be the only point where people can sit and meet together for uncommercial purposes, like not having to buy a drink or stuff. And it was really, really well received because the people have in this area, in the smaller area, almost no place to sit together. Only a coffee shop, but that's it.
So, and please remember this one, we will see the same one later. So please keep this in mind.
Yes, keep this in mind. So we will go to the next stop. It will take some time. So I again invite you to discuss a little bit what you see, to talk about placemaking, to talk about civic engagement, neighborhood projects, and we will meet again at the next stop. Thank you.
I like this project, it's really nice. But I just was thinking, it's such a, I mean, it's such a good thing to have the possibility to work like this closely with the municipality, to have the peace in your environment, and you have to prepare this. So I always think about that. That's so much depending on the context.
Yeah, and I think it's also not national, because I mean I can compare it with Berlin, and I mean in Berlin a lot of things are possible, but we have a lot of bureaucracy. So we do not have just to talk to the municipality, but we also have to talk to the district, and it's really a burden. So we could move something, but it seems to be really smooth from Cologne. So maybe we have to ask Gabi how the collaboration is. I mean, you said already, Christina, that in your country, in Hungary, it is so polarized in Budapest, right? That it's maybe possible, but then half of the people would say it's bad because it comes from the left government. So it's quite polarized. But how is it in other countries? I mean, is it complicated to get a permission, or from your community? I don't know, maybe Conchi. How is it in Vigo?
I'm not sure about it. The only thing I can say is that the municipality takes care of the free spaces. Everything is well kept, and they give away some places for people to grow vegetables in some spaces of the city.
But in the city center, or in parks, or in gardens outside?
In certain neighborhoods. In the area around, but it's not the city center, but it's fine as well.
In Milan, they are starting to do some reunion between the municipality and the representatives of the communities. So in this case, they are evolving, and they are starting to involve the citizens in all the projects, and the creation of urban spaces. In particular, we are currently building in some zones of Milan urban gardens, and we are going to rehabilitate a lot of different areas of Milan that used to be areas where there were farms, and now they are starting to use it as a green space. So in the past years, they have built so much in Milan that now they are starting to make it a green city. So they are trying to rehabilitate areas that were old or in not good condition, and they are trying to create green areas in our city. So the situation is evolving in a good way.
No, I think it depends on each area really. Because in Liverpool, it's pretty good. I mean, the organisation I used to work for, we did a community orchard, and they've got community cafes, and they've got they're doing a project called the 100-Year Street, and that's in Liverpool. It's near the city centre, but it's in Toxteth, which is quite a rundown area. And they've actually taken a piece of land which was unadopted, so basically not used, but it was owned by the council, and the council actually gave it to them, and now they've built they're going to do a 100-year-old project, which is all about citizen participation and ownership of space. So I know that the council have backed them with that, and the project that I worked on before, which was a community orchard, that was working in a neighbourhood which was outside of the city, in between the sort of rural area, and it was two councils. It was Knowsley Council and Liverpool Council, and basically they came together to work on this project, and they supported us in planting trees and fruit plants, fruit bushes, and we ran a project, a 2-year-long project, which was all about growing. So they were quite supportive of that, and I know of other urban guerrilla kind of growing which happens in Liverpool, and I know that the council are quite supportive of that. So I think Liverpool Council are pretty supportive of urban growing and citizen participation in using urban spaces. It's very different here because it's all farms and all landowners, you know. But there's quite a lot of community participation within villages around here. And we are just trying to get. We've got a community centre which we bought off the council for £1, because a lot of the councils aren't using these anymore, so they want to give them over to community organisations to use them. But then it's really tricky to then keep a building running. So open spaces are easier, really, I think, and more accessible.
How is it in Copenhagen, Tatiana? Is the city supportive?
Yeah, I would say that you can find a way, of course. But I think that from the conversation, actually, this what you mentioned, the ownership, that is very important. For example, I can give example from Denmark, maybe not from Copenhagen. This island Samso, that is actually the island that is exporting green energy. So they're producing more than they use. So they're very they start to export it, and so when they build this wind turbines, sorry,
the wind turbines, yes.
So actually the citizens of the island, they're owners of it, and they're getting like also the percentage. So I think that this kind of model is crucial also for them, how they take care out of it, how they continue to invest in that and everything. So yeah, and also there are some other smaller cities and places in Denmark where you can find something similar. But actually, I think the crucial is this: the ownership of the people that are there. So yeah, about the support of the city. I don't have a lot of experience about that, but what I can, I think that yeah, there are initiatives. Actually, you can find places. I don't know how. It depends on the part of the city and everything. Of course, there's some kind of limitation in that. It's not that everything is totally. So this public space is available everywhere. So yeah, but yeah.
How would it be in Greece if you put somewhere a public space which is maybe owned by some people in the neighborhood, but they would just overtake a parking space, a spot, you know, where you usually could park a car on the street? Would that be accepted, or would you have a problem in Greece?
Well, the problem is, most of it is about discourse, mainly. Before we reach the stage of doing, there are a lot of activists. There's a lot of activism on various issues, and there are a lot of sort of attempts to reclaim public spaces, but the discourse is quite difficult to engage. I don't know, how do you call it? You know, there is sometimes a reaction. We call this social automatic reaction. You know, where groups of citizens are against each other. You know, without them realizing that the actual, you know, that there is a space for a debate before you actually try to sort of remove the other from the picture.
So there is a lot of competition about social space, social discourse.
There is massive competition, and then there is, in Greece we have a problem with too many laws that are contradicting each other, and people sort of how do you call it? Exploiting it for their advantage. It's usually, you know, big economic interests. We had one example in the city center where there was a parking that was abandoned, but then the citizens covered and created a park, a really nice park. That the government didn't like it because these people were seen as against the government, and they try various means to sort of remove them from the area, and also, you know, to destroy. We had some nasty stuff with people destroying the park, and then, you know, the police doing some nasty things there. And then now it's rather quiet. The neighborhood is not quiet, but the park is. I've been there a couple of times. I used to go there with my, and it's a nice project. They show films in the summer, in the evening, and then you know, some festivals and some groups getting together. But it's the only example that I can. The countryside, because the problem with is that half of the country lives in Athens.
Yeah.
So there is lots of competition for space. The countryside is quite okay because there are spaces to claim and to create your own sort of meanings, whatever it is, and engage in these activities. But Athens is rather problematic. And
hello again.
Oh, we're back. Sorry, Stefanos, but it was an interesting thought. No, Stefanos was just talking about a park in Athens, which was.
We are here. Martin, maybe you recognize the space. It changed since you were here, I guess.
Christina was there as well. I was there with Christina, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
So this was actually the starting point when I met the group, let's say Martin and Christina from CRN, because they were, I think, in Bonn with a group of people, and they had a seminar and they asked Agora Köln if someone could come and talk about this space here, because they heard of it. And I read in the Facebook question that you are looking for a person who can tell something about the space, and said, yes, yes, I'm in charge from Agora Köln here, because I was helping a neighborhood group to be able to ask for city furniture. Like you see here, a bench. Yes, my charming model is here sitting. And also some hedges, because what you see now wasn't here before. So this particular space was a meeting point for neighbors to meet up and to discuss about the Day of the Good Life in Sülz-Klettenberg, which is here the neighborhood. And this is a project of Agora Köln, the Day of the Good Life, meaning that the neighborhood is for one Sunday car-free, so that people can be on the street without being afraid of that cars will run them over or let children play on the street. So it was closed off for cars. And Agora Köln e.V. invited people to think about what would you do if you had space and no cars. So they came here together at this space, like about 15 to 20 neighbors. But without the furniture, they only brought their own chairs, sitting down and discussing what would we do on this day. So the day was finally here in 2015. It went, but they liked it so much to meet up here in the space that they thought, maybe we come here more often. And so they took their folding chairs, not with them at home, they left it here. But after a few months, like the Ordnungsamt, like the people from the city who take care of stuff lying around in the city, said, no, you can't put them here on their own. You are not allowed to leave like chairs and tables and sofas and stuff in public space. This has to be removed. And then Agora Köln, like I was helping them to think about applying for some city furnitures, like funded by the city. In Cologne, we have something called Bürgereingabe, meaning everyone can apply for new, like these bike racks thing where you can close your, you have the bikes and also furniture, and at trees, you can also plant things at the trees, like Patenschaft, like taking care and ownership of the space. And so we gathered the neighborhood together and said, what do you think about reclaiming the space? And we met here in the summer, I think it was 2016 or 16, 17 almost. And there were about 30 neighbors discussing about what do they want to do with the space. And they decided they wanted a hedge here. They wanted here the table and the benches. And also over there, I'm not sure if you see it, there's also a bench. So they said we can sit here and wave to the other people. And so we asked the city, can you allow this, please? We want to have it here, and the people who live here will take charge of the space. And so they said yes. And at one point, the furniture came, and they also discussed with the person from the municipality where to put the benches. So they were walking around and discussing, okay, here is okay. So the person from the municipality, Grünflächenamt, said, we can leave it here, but you can't put it here. So it was also a cooperation between the city and the citizens, like the neighbors. And I showed you the sign of Martinsplätzchen at the parklet. Here you see Sternplatz. Also here the people took ownership of the space, and they also built a, I think it's for beds. Lisa, what do you think? Is it for beds, this one? Beds, birds, okay. yeah, birds, and they also created another bird house like here. And people who live here, they now have like a Patenschaft. What is Patenschaft in English? Yes, an official from the city. I can show you. So they come here, they garden together, they take care of the spot, they water the plants, and they also got, because water is not easy to get from the house with a garden hose. So now they have the opportunity from another neighborhood initiative. Yes, they want to do something about it also, because this was only phase one. As you see, this is a street where cars are driving by who don't live here, and it's like a shortcut from this street to this street. And the initiative also wants that here is like zone 30, and it is already a bike street, if you call so. So a lot of things happen around here, and I come back to the topic. So this is a very active neighborhood group, and yes, they have like something they can put in the earth to get water from. So the city made it possible for the people here to get easier access to water to take care of the space. And as I told you, it's phase one. They also want to change something about the situation with the traffic. And they also want to change, I will walk over there a little later on. You see a lot of cars parking there. There's a really nice alley, but it's a lot of cars and it's really, really run down. So this was a starting point for the group, this project. It's always important for a neighborhood group to have one project to work on, and in placemaking, obviously, to have a space to work on. Do you have any questions so far?
I would have a question, because you said that in Cologne everybody can ask for support for creating some common infrastructure or something like that. So how it comes? What kind of budget is it, or what kind of initiative?
Like the city of Cologne has like different smaller municipalities responsible for their neighborhoods, and they can give money to community projects, to social projects, but they decide. So you can apply, but it's not always the case that you will get it. And then it depends if it's, I don't know, 500 euros or 2,000 euros. And then actually you have to send a report what you did. So it's not only we give you the money and that's it, but it's also you have to show them what you did with the money, and if it's really used for that what you are applying for.
Okay.
But one thing the people here do in the neighborhood is to look around, because you see a lot of cars and more people ride their bikes, but it's also difficult sometimes for bike parking. So sometimes people walk around, like I will start a project with Agora Köln, inviting the neighborhood to for maybe 1 hour, like walking through the neighborhood and look around and say, okay, this could be a nice space to apply for like a car, like I don't know how to say in English, like this thing you can put your bike on, bike needles. Yes, thank you. So it's also an opportunity for people to gather, also distance, of course, in now our times, but to take charge of changing where they live. Not only accepting, okay, I live here, I can't do anything, but to see, okay, what would I like to change? What would be a nice thing for the community? And so then you can apply for it. And with Agora Köln and the city of Cologne, we have a good relationship. We work together for quite some time now. And so we are between the city and the citizens. And so it's a very nice way to bring people together, to also take politically charge of the neighborhood. Yeah, and basically it really depends on the project you want to apply for.
Can I ask you as well a short question? I know that you do a lot of good work, but because what I'm asking myself, I see all these wonderful examples, but how likely is it that somebody in Cologne is starting an initiative on your own, or are you rather like a motivator and multiplier as Agora?
Yes, absolutely. So we help people who want to start something in the neighborhood, so they can contact us. Sometimes we contact them if we get note from some people they start a neighborhood project. And if they say they want to do something but they don't know how, so we can help them, and it's like a consultation. So what we like to do is helping people to get started. And if they feel, all right, we are on the track now, we now know what to do, then we will leave them. And once in a while, we come back and ask them, are you fine? Do you need any help? But basically, we want to help things started, get things started, yes. In Cologne, more and more people take charge of projects. So it starts really, really small. But it's getting more and more, yes. So I can show you now the way to the kiosk where we'll meet Kirsten. Maybe you noticed that Kirsten was missing. So this is the alley I told you before. And the idea is maybe to take one of these car lanes away to have more space to walk here in the middle. But this will be, yeah, I would say a longer process, because if you take something away from people, like parking spaces, some people might be not fine with it, but other people say we want space. So as I said before, who owns the public space? Who decides here can be parking space or here can be a space where people meet? So maybe you see the kiosk in front of there, so it's not too far. And I will mute myself for maybe 2 minutes and we meet again at the kiosk.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is exactly the example for what we were talking about, this alley. It's very nice.
Yeah, I
Would be
remember.
nice to have it without cars, but to have this without cars, it's a long way. And they need to communicate and to compromise. And
No, I mean, what is maybe interesting for me is as well the role which Gabi described for her organization as being a broker, and not just being somebody who's waiting for people to apply for them, but also to ask actively
supporting, yes,
to go to reach out to
exactly.
things they learn and ask them if they need support. So this is quite interesting, because I rarely had such a case that somebody's actually reaching out to potential citizens.
But I wonder if this support, is it from participatory budget of the city, or was just some other, because it's very interesting.
We can ask Gabi about it. And you remember the kiosk was closed, now it's open. You remember? It was closed when we had been there. So finally we see it open.
Yes, it's open now. Do you see it?
Yeah, now it looks much nicer.
It looks much nicer. So we have a familiar face with us again. This is Kirsten.
Yeah.
You know her from before. And we are at a really nice space here.
From far away, see all the people sitting?
Yes. Yes, I can show you like the overview from the space, and I will give the word to Kirsten.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, welcome here to this lovely place where I'm working in since 2 or up to 3 years. It's a totally ehrenamtlich, voluntary based work here. We pay the rent for this little kiosk, or Bütchen as we call it in Cologne. And I just show you around what we achieved here. So Later, I will talk to Günther. He is a colleague of mine. He's working today, so he will be for us later. So, come with me. So, this is the public playground we have here, and there are a lot of families gathering around with their kids. And okay, and if you just turn around, you can see the little huts here, the Bütchen we call it, and it's from 1949. It's really old, and when I found this place, it was I think 3 years ago, and I was working, before I was working a lot in business. I was a real business girl, business lady, so to say, and I wasn't based in Cologne at all. I was living here, but I was not really living here. And in 2017, I started to my sabbatical, and at that time I found this place, and I found a few people hanging around here, and we were coming together to build this neighborhood initiative here inside. So this is the place. Last year we had the possibility to build some benches around here with a nice, from a nice guy who made them, called Stadtkontraste, and he also placed a few of this flower pots here. And we also get involved the Bezirksbürgermeisterin,
Like the mayor of the neighborhood area.
yeah, because she paid for this, and she also paid for these 2 benches where the neighbors just right now sitting.
Yeah, paid by this is what I told you before, that people can ask for funding money for projects, and this was also applied for, and then the city municipalities gave money to have this realized, that this can be built.
Okay, this is our blackboard where the people can put some messages if they're lost and found, or services they want to offer, or whatever. So, and just come with me.
Lisa, come with us. So you see here is everyone, older people, younger people. So it's a great variety of people of the community.
So, and what we make in a little tiny world, we have this book shelves here. The people can come and share and bring books and take books as they want to. So it's open all the time. And of course, we have sweets here for the kids. And this is also something, our support for collecting bottle tops, and they will be recycled. So this is what we are collecting. And what we also have here to see, you see this Recap button here. Günther, kannst du mir mal so einen Recap-Becher rausgeben?
Hey Günther.
Günther? Gibst du mir mal so einen Recap-Becher eben raus?
This is Günther.
So this is recaps. So and this is the recap from Cologne. This is an initiative from a company in Munich. They made these cups, and it's for refund. You can take it. It costs €1, and you can drink, and you can take this with yourself to Berlin, and you can exchange it in Berlin or in Munich. So it's a very nice project, and we support it. And also, we also have this here refill. Refill means that everybody can come here, and if they are thirsty, they get something to drink, some water from us. So, and now I would like to introduce you to my colleague. Here's Günther.
Hey Günther.
Hi.
Hi. So it's getting a little bit too crowded. I can't come in because it's too close. So I will show it from here.
So I would like to ask Günther why he's in our initiative. What is his motivation? Maybe you can tell us.
It's quite simple because I think it's a good place for neighbors to meet, to exchange information, to exchange a lot of things, books, and just it's a nice place to hang out, especially in summer.
And you had invited a musician to this place lately. He's from Denmark.
No, he is from Norway.
Okay. Maybe the people in Norway, Denmark know Modi, maybe. So he was here. He was playing here, and a lot of other musicians come here for a short concert. We had also some art exhibitions here, little ones, and also we cook together. But in the moment, it's not possible. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So this is yeah, okay. And
So what is this, Kirsten?
yeah, we were nominated for it means a place for a good neighborhood, and we were nominated because we are a good place for the neighborhood. And of course, I told you about this. What we call in German, it's Litfaßsäule. I don't know if you still have it somewhere, but this Litfaßsäule is normally for commercials, but in this case now it's for artists to show their art. So we have an exhibition, and it changes every month. So there's always the possibility for an artist to show his art every 2 months or so. It's changing. I don't know, but I think so.
Yeah, so it's a really nice neighborhood space which the group created here. So Kirsten, Lisa, do you want a coffee? I can send you a coffee. Something to drink? Okay. So do you have any questions for Kirsten and for the Bütchen?
I just have to say it looks much better when it's open than when it was closed when we came there on a rainy day in November.
Yeah, this is really true. So here I have a lot of spare time because I'm also living not right here but nearby. And this, you can see these triangles here. It is the World Knit Day once in a year. And Kirsten and the Bütchen team invited people to come here to sit and to knit for this particular day, and the yellow one is mine. So I can show you again the space from a bigger view. Yeah, so this was our small guided tour through Cologne, and I will give the word to Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Yes. So why did we do this project with the biking tour and the hybrid tour? We did it because we are involved with Eurospectives project, with the Erasmus Plus project, Eurospectives 2.0, curriculum for digital storytelling. So from Agora Köln, we are having a meeting, usually planned that people from the group, from Eurospectives group, come to Cologne, but because of COVID, they couldn't travel. And so in the project, there are several European countries and organizations. And so we have, for example, crossing borders in Denmark. We have COSV, Cooperazione per lo Sviluppo in Italy, People Voice Media. Yes. I learned in Italian, but I'm not so good in pronunciation yet. Then we
No,
have
it
people.
was good.
Then we have people voice media from UK. We have Elingo Germani Agogi in Greece. I hope I said it okay. It's,
That was perfect.
thank you. And then we have, of course, Agora Köln in Germany. And we have CFR Vigo in Spain. And I think I haven't forgotten anything. I wrote
Of
it
course,
down.
you forgot us.
CRN, I told, yes, the comparative research network where everything started with Agora Köln and our relationship, our project relationship. So within the project, we create a curriculum for digital storytelling. So this is a format we showed you. You can use, you can test, you can try out. Feel free to also do guided hybrid tours. It would be nice if the idea spread around Europe or especially around the world. Kirsten brings coffee. See here. So this will be our reward. So I really thank you for letting us having guiding you. Even if you were not able to come physically, I hope you got a little overview about Cologne and about the projects Agora Köln e.V. is involved with, about the people. And thank you to my colleagues Lisa, with Lisa and Kirsten, and also Günther. Hey. So this was it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I thank you very much. Goodbye, and I drink my coffee now. Bye bye.